Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me as always on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I've been great. Been watching Red Dwarf lately again. If for those who don't know, great sci-fi comedy if you like British humor. So yeah, life's been good. There's even some fun YouTube documentaries. But yeah, how are you doing, Ozzy?
YouTube documentaries.
Well, there's documentaries that are on YouTube.
You know what really upset me? I'll get into this in a second. Yeah. Also want to introduce Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing? Chilling?
I was going to respond to something Greg said, and I forgot.
Okay. Well, if it comes back to you.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a documentary. I hope you guys have seen it. If anybody out there's, it's the Discovery Channel cut of Project Grizzly. Have you guys heard of Project Grizzly?
No.
Sounds kind of familiar.
It is it follows the story of a guy whose his idea is he wants to help NASA have human beings hibernate in space so that way they could travel farther distances, right? So he's like, how could I help NASA try to get people to hibernate? What if I extracted the blood of a bear while they're hibernating? So the person proceeds to build a suit that would
resist a grizzly bear
attack.
Yeah.
And the Discovery Channel cut of this documentary was made for the Jackass audience because the majority of the Discovery Channel cut of Project Grizzly are the suit tests where logs, they have like on Endor from Return of the Jedi. You know how they got rid of the ATSTs?
Yeah.
Like a log like that just shoots from like 10 feet in the air and like knocks them back. And it's just him and it's him and his friends just like trying to test the suit out. And what's even funnier is that he tells his friend, it's like, okay, lift it 15 feet. And the friend lifts it like 25 feet. And then the log comes down, it whacks him across, he flies back. And then they take the helmet off him and he says, that was 15 feet? It's like, no, that was 25. Like, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And specifically the Discovery Channel cut, because I bought the tape of Project Grizzly. It was a 2-hour tape, and it was it was very little of the footage that I was hoping for. But practically 3 minutes. Like, this was the serious documentary in the Discovery Channel.
What year was this?
Exactly, a tape. It was a long, long time ago. The DVD for it wasn't available. I believe this was in, I want to say like 2000, like 2001. I know DVDs were prevalent, but, you know, all the financing needed to go into the bear suit.
I'm seeing this 1996 documentary indie film about him.
That's okay. The old one.
Troy Hurtubise. Canadian metalworker.
He's a Canadian metalworker, yes. And so in addition to a bear suit, some of his latest projects include building a real-life Halo combat suit.
Awesome.
Yes, that is exactly what I meant. Halo, the video game, he's building a real one of those suits. That's his plan to help the troops.
And what's the movie one called? Not the Discovery one.
That's the thing, is that when I saw it on the Discovery Channel, it was called so on the Discovery Channel, it was just called Project Grizzly, right?
Right.
And their cut was basically all the humorous moments.
Right.
Then there was the actual documentary called Project Grizzly.
Oh, they're both called Project Grizzly.
Yeah. It's a real tough time to get through. But there's about like 3 or 4 minutes of pure gold of just them testing the suit. That completely justifies the VHS purchase. I don't know where the tape is right now, but if anybody out there has a copy of that Discovery Channel cut, I will do a lot of things for a copy of that. But anyhow,
like put an asterisk on your name.
It's not funny. I had to check to see if there was
the Project Grizzly movie is on Hulu or Tubi and Prime.
Okay, I'll have to check that out later. And I'm worried it might be like the serious documentary.
Oh, I'm sure it
Anyhow.
is. It says 96.
Well, skim through and just watch the suit testing parts. The absolute best. I almost died laughing. And when I say that, it's because I couldn't breathe. So you don't have oxygen, you can't live. So technically, I almost died from laughing too hard. Anyway, that is actually not what we're discussing today.
I forgot we're live.
Today we are reviewing and discussing Scary Movie, the classic that was released on July 7th, 2000. Todd, do you have a trailer available? And if you do, could you please roll it?
Hello.
Want to have a little fun?
Who is this?
Tell me your name and I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
Do you like scary movies?
Mm-hmm.
What's that noise?
Oops. I farted. I didn't think you would hear me.
Oh, stinky.
From the people who had nothing to do with Scream.
Daddy! Decker got killed last night. She sits next to me in English class. Was she a friend? No. I was gonna cheat off her test today.
They didn't make the rules.
Oh my God, he's dead!
They're just too stupid to follow them.
We have to call the police.
No way! I ain't going to jail. It's okay, I'm fine.
We'll get rid of the body.
This summer,
There are certain rules to follow in order to survive a horror movie. Rule number one.
don't answer the phone.
I'm in the house. Do you know where I am?
You're behind the couch. I can see your feet.
What? Oh,
Don't run words. Don't talk to reporters.
The press only wants to interview the most ignorant person they can find.
I'm on TV.
And whatever you do, don't be afraid to rise to the occasion.
Oh!
ah, gee.
Dimension Films presents
That's my girl!
I just want you to look at some photos. Tell me what you think. Worth a shot.
Oh, man.
Scary Movie.
Can I tell you a secret? I see dead people.
This is awesome.
That was a trailer for Scary Movie, again released on July 7th in the year 2000, rated R, with a runtime of 88 minutes. Directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans, written by Shawn Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Buddy Johnson, Phil Bowman, Jason Friedberg, and Aaron Seltzer. I'm sure everybody had a little bit to contribute. However, if you go on the IMDb, it only has 2 of these names. But regardless, also starring, you had Anna Faris and Shawn Wayans, Marlon Wayans also in this movie as well. Initial thoughts on this. I didn't really enjoy it the first time around when I first saw it.
I have a question before you go that. Had you seen like the genre films that it was parodying, or were you just going in just as a comedy?
I'd seen Scream.
Okay.
And that was about it. Like, I didn't see, I Know What You Did. Like, I didn't see any of those. But, and I still haven't, but I still enjoyed this movie a lot more this time around rather than when I did in high school. Oddly
Was
enough.
there a reason that like the humor didn't hit? No, I'm just curious.
I mean, well, so The Sixth Sense is also parody there, but I guess Marlon Wayans' character, Shorty.
Right.
When I first saw that in the movie, I thought like that was too over the top, you know, and because, you know, I like to be a little bit more grounded, more real, like with more stuff.
Right.
And then I started meeting more
Airplane.
people. No. But they played it off seriously in Airplane. And like, you'd still buy one guy as a doctor. You'd still buy one guy, you know, But my point being is that I thought his character in the movie, when I first saw it, was too outlandish and too over the top. Until I actually met some people,
you were just too
that he was
sheltered.
caricaturing up, and then it made a lot more sense. And like the TV interview segment, just he does such a great job. And of course, this is directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans. He also has a small cameo role, but I was a fan of his with "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," and this immensely a lot funnier than "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," but it was in this go time when I was older and adult. I'm not sure exactly why specifically. I guess I'd have to sit down with somebody and watch the movie and then talk about each scene line by line or whatnot to actually figure out why. But I enjoyed it much more this time around, and it definitely will help if you know the movies that they are parodying. Like if you'd never seen The Matrix, that scene is probably going to be really stupid.
Right.
And if you have, it still might be.
Fair, but at least it fit in the world that you were watching.
This is like the perfect like culmination of the 90s. This is like 2000 where this is it. So there's a lot of like watching it now because I was like not looking forward to it. I always did like this film, but I'm a much bigger part 2 fan. Which hopefully we'll get to eventually. I don't know. I think it's just been done too much enough. I don't know. Plus you have the Jada Pinkett thing in the second one.
Wasn't it this that started a whole line of movies though? Because it wasn't like Not Another Teen Movie kind of.
Yeah, because you go like really it's like you start with Don't Be a Menace, and then that brings Scary Movie, and then that's where it starts to kind of like all the writers from them, and it just kind of because there's like so many writers by the time you get to like they can just keep saying from a writer of Scary Movie, so and all those other ones just kept coming. Epic Movie, Disaster Movie, there's
right
so many.
All those movies, right. So would that cover your initial thought?
Yes, sorry. But watching it again, I had a lot of fun. Like I was like I said, I wasn't looking forward to watching it. I've seen this a lot in my lifetime, so but it got me in the right mood, and I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of laughs.
Greg?
Yeah, this was one I was interested to go back to. It's been a long time since I've seen the original. I've definitely seen the sequel a few more times, but I've since stopped enjoying the smoking that I once did when watching these films. So it was a little different this time around, but I think it was still. It didn't have as much of the laugh out loud moments, but there were definitely some great bits that I think for nostalgia purposes, the member berries of this film were definitely worth it and made some good moments.
I might have had some help while watching.
No, but Greg, I see your point. This definitely hits to a lot of like, oh yeah, like, and if you hadn't seen any of these movies, it wouldn't hit nearly as hard.
Right.
However, it's still well put together, and there's some gags in there that you may think, like from the trailer, it might seem like, oh, well, they just randomly did this so they could do this gag. When in actuality, a lot of the gags in the movie that were some of its funniest were written in, so at least they made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the later ones you just kind of get to recycling just moments with the actors in the parody movie instead of really making it work like they do in the first couple.
Right. Like there's an actual, like if you were to take out a lot of the funny moments, you would have the skeleton of what would be a horror movie of that genre with a twist at the end. Sure. But at least it didn't feel like, I mean, sure, gags where there's just there for the sake of it or whatever, but for the most part, it was still you were still entertained to see how things were going to progress and how this comedic killer would like the murder that happens in the theater, and he just sits back and watches the rest of the movie, and it just cracks me up. Like, because everybody's sitting with no problem, everybody else does the damage.
The one thing, you know, like for people who have seen the movies, they nail shots like straight out of Scream, Halloween. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, so that's always, there is a joke. I'm kind of curious if you guys like, well, I guess Ozzy, because I wasn't sure if you had seen Scream, but there's just, and I don't think this is making anyone's top moments, but Principal Squiggy, because in Scream it's Principal Fonzie, it's Henry Winkler.
Oh, nice.
So right when it's Principal Squiggy, that
really
like gave
funny.
me an extra laugh. So I guess I kind of went into a favorite moment, but no, that's just a little attention to detail that I thought was great.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was curious if Chris McKean wasn't available.
No, you got Fonzie, you got to have Squiggy. Makes sense.
Right, but the Kurt Fuller, I think, is in
No holds barred.
but some of his scenes in the movie are hilarious, but there's just so much that's going on in the movie that can get hidden or like forgotten. But I'm glad it's at least included in the trailer. Where tell me what you think of these. And he plays the role so well. But going into a favorite moment, Greg, did you have one in particular?
Oh, I do. I definitely do. And it touches upon those member berries.
Okay.
So there's a scene when it's been long enough. It's okay. The killers have been revealed, or at least who they think is the killers and such. And Cindy goes, "You guys are psychos. You've watched too many TV shows." And then Ray, Sean Wayans, says, "No, watching TV shows don't create psycho killers. Canceling TV shows does." And while he's stabbing Bobby, he goes, "I mean, the Wayans brothers was a good show, man." That, I lost it because he's right. It was a fantastic show.
They didn't even get a finale.
That's right.
You want to know why? Same with Jamie Foxx show. WB just ran him to 100 episodes so they could throw him into syndication, then they'd cancel him.
Jeez. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Random
But at
TV.
least we got to see him here, and they ended up being okay for their careers.
Yeah.
I'm presuming. Todd, you have a favorite moment that you'd like to share?
Yes. I know. I'll go with that, the photo. But the line that I had to rewind because it had me rolling. I might have to bleep a little. "A small dick is a disability, man. Who would make fun of a guy in a wheelchair?" I was like, God, I've never noticed that line before, so it just like, yeah, made me smile a bit.
There are a ton of moments and a ton of lines in this movie, but one I'm picking out in particular here, I'm picking out for the reason that I mentioned earlier. This was a line I didn't really like. I didn't find funny in the sense of like I wasn't laughing. I was just like, okay, that's just another joke. But after the past 20 years, it actually is really funny. And that's when all the newscasters, all news anchors, they're reporting about a murder at the campus, and then finally gets to one van and says, "Reporting live from Black TV. White people are dead. We get them out of here." And they just bolt.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard. I needed to go back and watch that multiple times because back then it didn't hit me. Like I was a teenager. Okay. Growing up in Orange County, whatever. And then 20 years later, oh, yeah, that really is funny. So
life experience.
That's right.
Life experience. So that was a line in particular, but I also wanted to point out what I appreciated the mock of Blair Witch and the setup for that was actually a good setup. Like it wasn't just random. Oh, we're here in the woods now, randomly or whatever. There was a reason that they were where they were. And then when you saw them going into the woods, that's when you knew what was going to happen.
The beanie.
And the beanie. And then like, then you started, it was hitting more home for you. But if somebody had never seen the Blair Witch Project, well, or even knew about it, because I never saw the movie, but I was familiar with it.
That was parodied a lot.
Yes, I mean, and it's even on their logo there behind your head, Ozzy.
Which, to be honest, was the first time I ever noticed it in the poster.
Oh, no kidding.
I never noticed the Blair Witch symbol in the poster until I pulled it up on the screen and was like, hey, wait a second. Oh, that's even better.
Obviously, it's only on the first poster.
Right. I never saw the second one.
What?
Well, we got something for next year.
I don't even know if I could wait. I mean, I'm going to probably...
We'll review it next year for sure.
Yes.
But getting to the ratings, I had so much fun with this. And in terms of a comedy, it was just, you were laughing every like 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. There was something new to laugh at. They were constantly hitting you with jokes. And I just had such a good time with it, especially because they wrote it like to have an actual story and not just gag after gag after gag. But I love the over exaggerations of like the Blair Witch scene that we talked about. And Sean Wayans at the end when he's all the spit, because the climax from Scream, that's how he was, and the overemphasis of that.
I'm glad you caught that, Ozzy.
Oh yeah, no, because I remember saying in Scream like he really is spitting a lot, and so for them to do that, I could not stop laughing with this movie, and it is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Todd?
I'm also a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Greg?
Wow. Yeah,
it hit me right. I'm normally a little lower on this one. I'm normally about a 4, but it hit me right when I watched it last night.
See, and that's where I'm at the moment. It's a 4. I think a lot of these jokes are great when you're surprised by them. And there's some that still hold true, and like I said, has that member berries moment. But it just didn't have me rolling as hard as I knew the jokes that were coming. But it's still a great film. So yeah, I'm still gonna give it a 4 for sure.
Nice. I didn't say it. I did go see this opening day.
Oh.
So
I think if you were seeing it for the first time, you'd be surprised by a lot of these gags.
Oh, yes.
So you'd probably love it a lot more the first time. If you understand the reference. But chances are, if you know all the references, you'll enjoy it a lot more the first time rather than the second or third time.
100%. Would definitely be a 5 at that point.
Gotcha.
I think me having a long gap between the last time since I've watched it really helped.
I think that helps with me too, because I haven't seen this movie and I think it was on DVD was the last time I saw it. Like Blu-rays weren't out yet. So it was at least 10 years.
Speaking of Blu-rays, the Blu-ray features.
What do we got?
It has some behind the scenes.
Okay.
It has some deleted scenes.
Okay.
The theatrical trailer. But wait, there's more. Seamless menus.
Seamless menus. No commentary?
No, it's not listed.
Bummer.
Who needs commentary when you have seamless menus?
Right.
It was like, which one are we doing?
Our menus
Sorry,
are
Keenen.
Yeah. That would have been a great time for him to have commentary after watching it the first time around. I would love to see it a second time with commentary, just to, because I'm sure it was a good time on the set for everybody.
Yeah.
And
while we're on the subject of like the DVDs and Blu-rays and all that fun stuff and the extras, one thing that I do have to say we are missing that Netflix, Hulu, any of these need to like step their game up to bring back. You remember when you'd find the Easter eggs on a DVD, things that weren't there that like are listed, and it was just fun little extra moments, you know. And I think that we really need to capitalize back on that market. That was a great part about the Blu-ray situation.
I miss the DVD animated menus, stuff like Van Wilder. I don't know if you guys remember that. I know Ozzy's not familiar with the House of a Thousand Corpses one, but those old, like, that were like uniquely for that product, that menu.
Hey, when you talk about DVD menus, like how enjoyable they were, the only thing I can think of is This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay, there you go.
That's
See,
fair.
and
That was hilarious.
and they don't, and stuff like that's kind of like the House of Thousand Corpses one.
Okay.
It's very, yeah.
No, but I mean, you had the three guys commentating on the size of their logo when you popped open the DVD. Like, that's amazing. And the commentary only makes the movie better. All right, we're gonna get sidetracked.
Yeah.
This was our review for
Yeah.
Scary. We all rated it. Yes, we got a 5 and
Yeah.
a 5 and a 4. Available currently as of October 15th. Available to stream on Max, formerly HBO Max. I apologize, me moving my microphone there. Actually, it was not me. It was the ghost because it's spooky. Speaking of spooky season, tune in next week to see what was the fan vote for what we will be reviewing and discussing. Looking very forward to that. Greg, I'm sorry, did I miss something?
Well, it's a ghost.
Oh, geez.
He followed you home.
Anyway, do you guys have anything else before you head out? Any final
It's good
thoughts?
to see our friend again. That's
Yeah,
all.
okay.
It's been a while.
All right. Okay, then. I'll take
Good
that as a
evening.
no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one final thing I will say before I head out. If you are in the Orange County area and you are interested in hanging out with some trivia, you can check me out at Mondays at the Rush Barn Grill in Lake Forest beginning at 6:30, Tuesdays at the Brewery in Placentia beginning at 7 o'clock, Wednesdays in Los Alamitos at Griffin's Grill beginning at 7:30, and Thursdays in Anaheim at the Honey Pot Meadery beginning at 7:30. Song plays, everything has something to do with the answer, and there's opportunity for cash money at the end. Only with me, not with any other trivia hosts, because they all suck. Sorry. Facts are facts.
And by the way, whoever came to your trivia that was wearing the Flesh Wound Farce t-shirt, fantastic, and
Yes.
thank you. You are the best.
That was, yes,
Very cool.
commonly comes to the Rush Bar and Grill. His name is James. Much appreciated for the support. You can as well. Todd, are they able to still get the Bloodline shirts? Or
They absolutely
Farceline
can.
shirts? Are they available on the? Yes, there it is.
Yes.
That can be a t-shirt that you can wear. Available where, Todd?
Down in the link below where it says buy a
Down in the
t-shirt.
link below in the comments. Buy a t-shirt. If you're listening to the audio version on a podcast, check out the YouTube version so you can see what link you need to click that you can buy one of these Farceline shirts. All right. So any final thoughts? Or did I already asked you guys? That's why I went into my thing.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that is Flesh Wound producer Todd. I apologize. Flesh Wound producer Todd, world famous juggler Greg Larson, and I'm Ozzy V. We'll see you next week right here on a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.